Welcome to the Dr. G and Kevin Lawrence Show. I'm Kevin Lawrence in the studio with my dad, Dr. Gary Lawrence. We are a father and son team dedicated to helping you create your new financial future today. Dr. G and I believe there is a solution to your financial situation. And on this show, we talk about creating wealth with biblical principles and practical application in today's world. Now, you can visit our website at wealthempowers.com. And hey, this radio show, it's also on iTunes. So check us out there. Follow us on Facebook or YouTube. Just type in Wealth Empowers and you will find us online. So as you listen today, friends, we hope you'll be entertained, educated, and at least walk away encouraged. And I'm so glad that you are riding along with us. So we all have hopes and dreams. Well, at least we all did at one time in life, you know. But as life goes on and, well, life happens, it seems that we slowly let our dreams fade in the light of dealing with the reality of life. Now, when we all stood at our high school graduation, I'm going to guarantee, well, almost guarantee, none of us declared that our dream would be 65 years old, retired from a job we hated the past 40 years, depending on social insecurity and working part-time to make ends meet. I'm pretty confident that was no one's dream. However, based on statistics, this is where over 60% of Americans end up every day. So what do? How do we revive our dreams? What steps do we take to wake up to the possibilities of a strong financial future at any age and any stage of life? Dad, how would you respond to those questions?
Well, as I'm hearing your opening remarks, I thought, when I was in the sixth grade, I didn't dream that when I'm 65 years old, hey, I would like to go through bankruptcy and foreclosure, You
didn't do that as your essay, what you wanted to be, you grow up in elementary
Not at all. And, the sad, I say sad, but the amazing fact that as you and I are speaking right now, every day in the United States of America, 10,000 Americans are turning 65 and retiring on social insecurity. And with your background in the insurance industry,
yes,
they're not really enjoying a quality of life. They're barely existing financially.
Yes, absolutely.
And to help you and I convey to our audience the truth of what we're going to talk about how men and women can literally create a financial platform they control through real estate investing. We have a very special guest coming to us all the way from Salt Lake City, Utah. And, we're going to talk about Renatus. And what is Renatus? Well, it's a Latin term for rebirth. And I really believe that probably 90% of all of our listeners need a rebirthing in their life financially.
Absolutely.
And Renatus is the premier real estate investing education service in America. And our guest has an amazing story, and I'm going to bring him on. His name is Richard Stock. He's a 41-year-old entrepreneur. And after spending years in the mortgage industry with his bachelor degree in marketing and finance, he realized that, he wasn't going to be able to create the kind of lifestyle that he dreamed of when he was a younger boy. But I'm going to bring him on and let him share his own story. Richard Stock, what a joy to have you on the air with us today.
It's great to be with you guys.
Well, it's good to have you on the air. Richard, tell us a little bit about your family. I think you've got 3 boys, right?
I do. I have a beautiful wife, and we got married December 31st, 2005. And
Nice.
Then since then, we've had 3 little boys. I got a boy that's just almost 12, an 8-year-old, and a 6-year-old, and absolutely the love and joy of my life. And
well, that's
I
awesome.
can't imagine life without him.
And what's your wife's name again, Richard?
My wife's name is Amy.
Amy. And I like the way he said, I have a beautiful wife. And I'm thinking, well, I wonder if she has a handsome husband.
That part I don't know about.
Yeah. Well, Richard, would you just take a few minutes and tell our audience your story, where you were before Renatus? I think you had some real financial challenges. Am I right or right?
You're absolutely right. I went out and, after I graduated, as you had mentioned, I went into, doing mortgages, and, it treated me pretty well. But one of the things I saw as I was looking at the mortgage industry is, man, I don't know if I can have this stress the rest of my life, knowing that every month that my financial future depended on whether somebody else wanted to refinance their home. And so as I was looking at that, I said, you know what, I want something a little different. And I went out and I got into sales. And I absolutely loved sales because, well, I could go and basically predict the income that I was going to be able to make every single month.
So you were able to create more control over your cash flow.
Oh, absolutely, I did. And I went, and I was younger and dumber at that time, and thought I got to the point where I'd had some great months as far as income, and I completely got over leveraged. And 2008 hit, 2009, 2010. And I'll never forget one of the best days of my life, but one of the worst days of my life, was August 24th, 2010. And the reason I'll never forget that day is, well, the second rental property I ever acquired, I ended up losing it to foreclosure. And what I realized at that point is, well, I can't go much lower. I just lost that home to foreclosure. I had I was absolutely drowning in debt. I was negative cash flow every single month, feeling like a failure as a husband, a father, a provider. And I was like, you know what? I can't get any worse. And the dream that I had, I'm like, it's not working for me anymore.
Yeah.
And so I was like, man, this just stinks. But luckily, I was 33 at that time, and instead of what a lot of people do, say, well, this is my lot in life, I decided to start looking and searching for something new. And that's when I was introduced to this wonderful opportunity in December 2010, and got started in January 2011.
And that's really a powerful thing. What you just said there, Richard, is you said I decided, and that's first and foremost. You made a decision that you were going to find something different rather than just accept your lot in life. And now a lot of people they don't do that. They just accept their lot in life, and they say, well, I better play it safe, try to get out of my debt situation, and that way things will hopefully turn around someday. But I don't know of anyone who has made that change until they decide to make that change and keep looking forward. So, Richard, when you got started with Renatus, how was Amy responding to you?
I was just going to ask him, how was Amy dealing with all the stress that you two were going through, Richard?
That's where I say I am very blessed because, at that time, we were actually living in my in-laws' basement apartment, and a small basement apartment. And a lot of people were like, what the heck are you doing? You just lost a house. You need to go get a real job. And, after, having years of kind of some freedom and not having a boss, I reluctantly went back and got a job.
Oh, no.
And one of those W-2 things that I was depressed every single day. And about a year into it, my wife just came to me, and she said, you know what? I'm tired of this. You suck being married.
Oh, no.
I'm like,
gosh.
what? She's like, you hate your job. Why don't you quit? And why don't you go do something that you're passionate about? And so I'm very fortunate, and I'm very lucky. And so she was very supportive. And to me, that was one of the biggest blessings, just saying, hey, even though we've gone through this time, you know what? I still believe in you.
Yeah.
You're an individual that, if you have to go out and work 18 to 20 hours a day to take care of the family, that's what you're going to do. And, that's what I did. And all of that hard work at that time, it was an absolute hell that I was going through.
Right. Yeah, well, you did.
Here I am.
Yeah, you
talking
did.
about
you didn't marry Amy so you could work 14 to 18 hours a day, did you?
And no, I didn't. And to make it worse, we had, collection calls coming in.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had between 60 to 100 collection calls coming in a day wanting to know when they were going to get paid.
Well, how far in debt were you at that time, Richard?
I was hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt.
Oh, my goodness.
In consumer debt. Because we just got, completely over leveraged.
Right.
And
Richard, I need to go to my audience. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Wealth Empowers with Dr. G and Kevin Lawrence, and our special guest is Richard Stock, 41-year-old entrepreneur from Salt Lake City. Man, he's unfolding quite a story, isn't he?
Absolutely, and a lot of our listeners can identify with the stress that Richard used to live under.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're at a place in your life where you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, Kevin and I want to give you an opportunity to do something about it. We're hosting another investor business forum right here in the Valley, and we host these every week. And I'm extending to you my personal invitation to be my guest. There's no cost to you. We've got you covered. And if you decide you'd like to be my guest, I tell everybody, leave your checkbook and credit cards at home. You're not going to buy anything. We're just going to get acquainted. We're going to do our due diligence with each other. In just a minute, I'm going to give you the phone number to call, but I want you to know when you call, you will get our voice message. So for your sake, leave a message for me with your name and phone number, and I will personally return the call. Here's our phone number. Get ready to write it down. It's 602-730-5645. That's 602-730-5645. Or, hey, visit Kevin and I on our website, wealthempowers.com. That's wealth, W-E-A-L-T-H. Empowers, E-M-P-O-W-E-R-S, wealthempowers.com. And so, Richard, you were hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. You hated your job, just over broke, and that's exactly where you were, wasn't it? Are you there, Richard?
I am.
Okay, I said that's where you were at that time, right?
Absolutely.
And so is that when you were introduced to Renatus?
It is when I was introduced to Renatus, yes.
Well, now here you are, hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. You were very, very frustrated with the quality of life you weren't able to provide for your family. What in the world possessed you to get the mindset that you're going to make a financial investment in real estate investing education service?
A crazy mindset. This is what I just realized. I'd realized that what I had been taught growing up, go to school, get good grades to get a good job, I just realized that wasn't for me. Because I'm a hard worker.
Right.
But I am a terrible employee.
Yeah.
So I show up at 9 o'clock or 9:05 or sometimes even 9:10. To me, that's still 9 o'clock. If I have a half-hour lunch break and I decide to take a 45-minute, lunch break, I'm like, it's the same to me. And what I just realized was, well, employers, they don't like that. And so as I started researching, as I started looking, I realized this. I realized that I would never get to where I wanted to be having a W-2 job.
Right.
I realized that if I went down and just said, if I could go out and do one real estate transaction and not get crazy, but, make $25,000, that could be an extra good $25,000.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah.
What if I could do 4 a year?
There you go.
All of a sudden, I'd have the bells and whistles and everything else going off, that I was able to get to the six-figure club.
Now, I want to take a break. I want to take a break before you go on with your story, Richard. I want to tell our audience, Richard Stock is one of the most sought-after, highly respected investors in the Renatus community nationwide. Our guest, Richard Stock, is, I think, the number 3 income earner in the company. Is that right, Richard?
All time, yes.
Yes, all time. Now, I'm behind you about 7 or 8 levels, okay? But the old guy's still kicking dirt up, you know what I mean?
And I love it.
Yeah. And but I just want our audience to understand, here you were, hating the JOB mindset, showing up to work at 9 o'clock in the morning, kicking off at 5 o'clock, getting a 30-minute lunch break. That's not Richard Stock. You literally reposition Richard to work in his strengths and become the person God wanted him to be. Am I right or right?
You're absolutely right.
Okay, go ahead with your story.
And so I just looked and I said, what if?
Mm-hmm. What if?
What if? Because when I was a little boy, my parents, this is something that's always stuck with me, is they hung a sign over my brother and I's bed. And it said, it's this little boy, and he's kind of frowning with his, kind of has this scowl on his face, and he has his arms crossed. And right above it, it said, I know I'm somebody, because God don't make no junk.
Mm. Wow.
And as I sat there, I'm like, you know what? We're in the land of the free. Anything that we want to accomplish, I can. And I realize money doesn't buy happiness.
Right.
But I'll be the first one, to admit that.
But it sure does make life a lot easier, doesn't it?
It does, but I realize, I have options. I have ways to be able to go and experience things that I never experienced growing up. We lived in a very paycheck-to-paycheck home growing up. And I'm like, you know what? I want to experience. I want to go see the world. And my parents, they didn't have a lot of money, but they instilled in me a work ethic.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're honest and ethical and you treat people with respect,
right,
you will always be taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and so I'm like, I want to go get that, and I want to create some more and give back and help a lot more people.
Well, you were 33 years old, almost 34, when you enrolled in the Renatus Education Service. And I tell everybody that Renatus is the premier real estate investing education service in America. We are second to none. Would you take a few minutes and kind of give a 10,000 foot aerial overview of what the Renatus education is all about, Richard?
Absolutely. As Dr. G and Kevin have mentioned, Renatus is the premier real estate investment education in the country. But to me, it's more than that.
Right.
A lot of people that I've talked to, they're absolutely getting killed in taxes.
Right.
Making money, and I'm not saying, making money is easy. I'm not saying making a lot of money is easy, but we can go down and get a W-2 job, sit at a desk, work behind a counter, and make money. But let's save the money we make. How can we legally pay less in taxes?
Right.
How can we have the retirement we want to have? How can we get the rate of returns in our retirement accounts that we want to have? How can we go and get out of debt a lot faster without making any more money? How do we create a legacy for our kids?
Yeah,
so that our kids never have to worry about money.
Well, yeah, exactly. And not just get out of debt, but how about stay out of debt?
Yeah, stay out of, I'm going to change that just a little, Dr. G, stay out of bad debt.
Right.
Yeah, bad debt. Yeah.
And that way, because I always get debt's neutral. It's what we decide to do with debt, if it's good debt or bad debt. Bad debt is we go on a lot of vacations and, we buy things that we can't afford. Good debt, I look at it as, good debt is, how much will this make me?
Right, yeah, investing in real estate. Listen, before we go, can you just give us a 30-second overview of how much positive cash flow profit have you created now in the last 8 years since you started your Renatus journey?
On a monthly or yearly basis?
Let's just say a yearly basis.
6 figures plus.
6 figures plus. And you're working for Richard Stock. You must just be enjoying a quality of life that very few people have the opportunity to enjoy. Am I right?
You're absolutely right.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, you've been a blessing to Sylvia and I, Richard. You've been so kind to us. When I was going through my hip surgeries and other things, my spinal surgery, we'd come to National. You'd kind of put your arms around me. I remember one time I almost fell off the stage and you caught me. Remember that?
Oh, I'll never forget that. The look on your face. And when I caught you, you wanted to almost come up and give me a big hugging kiss, but we just stopped at the hug, Dr. G.
I know it. Hey, you're listening to Wealth Empowers with Dr. G and Kevin Lawrence, and we are a father and son team dedicated to helping you create a new financial future and to do it now. Kevin, tell them about our business.
So this week, this is our invitation to you, and we're inviting you to be our guest this week at our Investor Business Forum. And what's an Investor Business Forum? Well, basically, it's the opportunity for you to meet Dr. G and I, and just as important, it's the opportunity for Dr. G and I to meet you. We enjoy meeting our listeners, and you're going to find out what this Renatus thing is all about. You're going to meet local investors here in the Valley area. You're also going to see real estate in real time as it's happening right now, and it gives you the opportunity to do your due diligence. So I'm going to give you my phone number in just a minute. When you call, leave a message. Please speak clearly. Dr. G will return your call personally. And the number you're going to call is 602-730-5645. And I'm going to give you that phone number again. Make sure you write it down or remember it well. 602-730-5645. And check us out online. Friends, go to our website, wealthempowers.com. That's 2 words altogether, WEALTH, Wealth Empowers, EMPOWERS, wealthempowers.com. Hey, drop us an email. We'll reach out to you that way as well.
Absolutely. Richard Stock from Salt Lake City, 41-year-old real estate investor, entrepreneur, team builder, and life changer is our special guest. Richard, we've only got about 2 minutes left. Would you talk to our audience from your heart to their heart? If they do call Dr. G and Kevin and they do take up our offer to be our special guest at our business forum, what are they going to experience?
You guys can experience truly an experience of being able to see how you can get to where you want to go. A strategic way to be able to turn your goals and dreams into reality and realize, you know what, I am empowered to go out and make the money that I want to make for me, my family, and to be able to enjoy the lifestyle that I want to be able to enjoy. You're going to be able to see how you can get out of, the debt that you might have, or be able to see a path and a way to be able to go out and save money in taxes. Then be able to learn how to invest in real estate. There's so much. It's not just about making money. It's making money, keeping the money, and growing that money through over 60 different strategies and ways to be able to invest in real estate.
That almost sounds unreachable for the average person, but we're going to come back tomorrow with you, Richard, and let's unpack how realistically our audience can actually embrace the Renatus Real Estate Investing Education Service and change their financial future and do it now. How's that sound, my friend?
That sounds great.
Richard, we love you, my friend. Thank you so much for your valuable time. We're going to come back tomorrow. And ladies and gentlemen, when I say it like this, if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. And if you're ready to make a change, I want you to know this: change, when left to chance, is just going to create more conflict for you. But the truth is, if you don't change, things will never change. The only thing that won't change is the fact that things will change. So what's the bottom line? Either you make the change, or the change is going to make you. Success has never been a destination. It's nothing more than a journey. And you can succeed. All that's given to anyone is given to you. God hasn't favored other people more than you. Success has never been final, but failure's never been fatal. An investment in knowledge will pay you the best return on your investment. You're full of the power of success. And why do I say this? Well, greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. I'm Dr. G, and I want you to create success. We've got a very special guest on the line, all the way from Salt Lake City, Utah. Richard Stock, 41-year-old real estate investor, entrepreneur. Yesterday, he shared with our audience how that he was hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. He had spent years in the mortgage industry and then went into sales and marketing. But then he was introduced to Renatus and has literally revolutionized his and his wife's Amy. It's revolutionized their life. I'm going to bring him on. Richard Stock, what a joy to have you back on today.
It's great to be back with you guys.
Okay. Richard, can you talk just a little loud? Couldn't hardly hear your voice there, my friend.
Yeah, you know what? It's great to be back with you guys.
Oh, it's good to have you. Kevin, you had a direction you wanted Richard
Hey,
to go
Richard,
today.
so yesterday we gave a big, like a 10,000-foot overview of your circumstance, your situation. And when people hear about coming back from hundreds of thousands in debt and actually using real estate investing to do it, there's probably a little skepticism, People go, well, investing in real estate is risky and we all can't be Donald Trump. And you've heard all the excuses.
And who wants to be like Donald Trump?
I don't, yeah, from a real estate investing standpoint. It's the one name that everyone associates with real estate investing. But it's more than just real estate investing. It's about developing a business system, developing a financial platform. But let's dial this back and just get to the nitty-gritty of it. Share with our audience what was that first deal that you did that you went, man, this is real. Like, that's real money. We actually accomplished it from beginning to end. Now, I know you've been doing this a lot of years. Can you remember back which one, or maybe as a second or third deal you did, and share with the audience how that went down?
Yeah, one of them, when I started learning the power of real estate, it was actually a little before my time in Renatus, where my wife and I, this is when, we were, making a good income. Our credit was good, everything else. And we went and we ended up, building a home. And we built the home. And then 9 months later, we found ourselves moving to California. And when we sold that home, we made $65,000.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay. And I had never forgot about that one experience. And so here I am, drowning in debt, and I'm like, what's the fastest way to get out of debt? Because, see, a lot of the money that I had borrowed, some of it was from family and friends, and I couldn't declare bankruptcy on them. And so I'm like,
and that's always
what's the
tough.
fastest way to pay it back?
Yeah, and that's tough because you got to see family and friends and look at them regularly. And when you owe them money, emotionally, that's draining. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
So you looked at the fastest way to get out of debt is through real estate investing.
Mm-hmm. Richard, let me ask you this. In the last 8 years, how many deals have you been able to do, just approximately?
We've done about 25, and a lot of those now have been able to turn into rentals.
Okay.
Wow.
And so now that you wanted to be on purpose about it, because you sold that first home you built, which is nice, the appreciation is $65,000 in 9 months. That's a nice income. So when was it that you did it on purpose? Did you fix and flip a house? Did you buy and hold a property? What was that first deal you did?
Yeah, so what we ended up doing is, as I remembered, I'm like, okay, if I can make $40,000 on transaction, I can knock this bed out pretty fast. Mm-hmm. And so that's where we came, and, we went and said, we're going to go and we're going to flip a home. And so we went and we were able to buy a home without using any of our money, without any of our credit. We learned how to use retirement accounts. And we went out, we got the money, we bought a home, and one of my friends was, a real estate agent. And I knew he was always trying to get the great deal. And so we went and we posted it on Facebook. Mm-hmm. And I just sent a message to him and said, hey, bud, I'm selling this home. Do you know anybody who might be interested? And we turned around on that transaction in 90 days, made a little over $24,000.
So you were able to secure a house with none of your own money, none of your own credit, put the deal together, put crews in there to work it. 9 months or 90 days later, 3 months later, you sold the house and put $24,000 profit in your pocket.
Yeah, with me and my partners, we split that. Correct.
We split that, yeah.
But you stop and do the numbers. If you did 4 a year, that's $100,000. That's pretty good income, isn't it, Richard?
Yeah, and that's where I went. This is where the light bulb started going off for me. I'm like, I can do this.
Before I go to my audience, I want to ask you this question. How much credit do you give to the quality of the Renatus Real Estate Investing Education Service that you enrolled in?
100%.
100%. You're not exaggerating.
Like you go 200%, I do 200%.
I love it, Richard. All right. Hey, you're listening to Wealth Empowers with Dr. G and Kevin Lawrence. And we are a father and son team dedicated to helping you learn how you can create a new financial future now through the wonderful world of real estate investing. Hey, Renatus has, I think, 29 practicing real estate instructors. What do I mean by practicing? That means that they are real estate investors themselves. They're not just teaching us how to do it; they're teaching us how to do what they're doing. And we've, I think, got over 60 classes. We're nationwide. Renatus is making an impact from the east to the west coast of the United States. Ladies and gentlemen, Kevin and I, we're hosting another Investor Business Forum this week. And we would love to invite you to be our guest. I'm going to give you the phone number to call in just a minute. But, hey, when you call, you will get a voice message. So for your sake, leave a message for me with your name and your phone number, and I will return the call personally. What is a business forum? It's not a boring meeting, and no, this is not multi-level marketing. This is giving you an opportunity to be introduced to the finest, most impactful real estate investing education service in America. Hey, and you're going to meet people just like you, just like yourself, looking for the right vehicle to make that financial change. Here's our phone number. Write it down. I want you to give me a call. It's 602-730-5645. That's 602-730-5645. Or visit me at our website, wealthempowers.com. That's wealth, W-E-A-L-T-H. Empowers, E-M-P-O-W-E-R-S. Wealthempowers.com. Richard Stock's our guest from Salt Lake City. By the way, Kevin, I need to mention this, that Richard Stock is a member of the President's Advisory Council. Mm-hmm. I finally got it out. The PAC, the President's Advisory Council, and Sylvia and I, as you know, we have the privilege of serving alongside Richard on the PAC. Hey, Richard, what's it like being a member of the President's Advisory Council at Renatus?
You know, it's a wonderful experience being able to, on a weekly basis, be able to meet with our founder and CEO and figure out how we can take what we currently have now and make it better. And, because that's all, our founder and CEO wants to do is he wants to empower people's lives and help them get to where they want to go. And so that's something that we spend a lot of time, Dr. G, as you well know, discussing. What are the needs of the community members?
Right.
How can we help our community members?
Richard, I lost you. There you are. Okay, go ahead.
How can we go and, be able to make a bigger impact in their life? What are some of the new strategies, some of the new things that are coming out? And that's what I love is we're always searching and looking for ways to make a difference in people's lives.
Right. And Richard, I know you're very familiar with those real estate gurus. They come into towns. Now, Phoenix is well known for this with the 2 or 3 day weekend seminar, and all they do is upsell their services. They don't have the community aspect that we offer people. But what would you say is the main difference between those real estate guru programs and the Renatus educational service that we offer?
Well, I wish we could spend like 5 hours on it because there is, that big of a difference. But when I really look at it, it is this. It's two things. Number one, those individuals that teach the classes what they're teaching is what they do every single day in their life. They are practitioner, instructors. So that's the big one. The second one is this. You can go to any state in this country and plug in to a community of investors who have learned the same way that you have learned, through the same instructors, the same knowledge, the same education, so you guys can be on the same page as you're out doing a real estate transaction with the community. Because, real estate investing, it's not easy. Sometimes we're going to have good days and we're going to have bad days.
You mean, are you saying that real estate investing is not all cupcakes and ding dongs?
No, it's not. It's more like a Twinkies. No, it's not. And that's the thing that I like about it, is every day is a new challenge. Every day we get to figure out something else. But when there's that community that we can go and we can call home, we call it our family, because they're our friends and they're our families. You know what? We spend a lot of time with them. And that's what I love, is there is a support system to encourage us to become better, to grow, and become better as a person.
Richard, I look back when Sylvia and I were coming out of bankruptcy, and I was enrolled in the Renatus Education Service. I did my first fix and flip out in Mesa with none of my own money, none of my own credit. Had a private investor, put together a project team and project manager, and in just 90 days generated $37,000 in profit. That was a pretty good start with the real estate journey, wasn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, it's a good thing you were older. You might have had another baby from the celebration.
Yeah. Richard, that was funny.
Okay. Hey,
thanks for that picture.
Junior anymore.
Yeah, all right. Good. I might have had a little brother. Hey, so Richard, here's the thing that we talk about fix and flips, and that's definitely a way to generate cash. No doubt, and massive income, passive income type thing. But the buy and hold really is a long-term play, whether it's multifamily units or single-family residence or commercial units. That's what's known in the industry as mailbox money. You get up, whether you roll over in bed or roll out of bed and go to work, you're still going to get that check because the rent's got to be paid. Here's the thing, though, and I want to back up to what you said earlier in this conversation today. And here's what I want to dial down and help our listeners really get, is the confidence that is built in the investor when they're educated properly. And you said your first property, you were able to get controlled, none of your own money, none of your own credit. You did it legally, protected your investor, but part of it was a class that we offer called self-directed retirement funds. Okay. So just 2 minutes, share with our audience, what was it about that class that you learned that gave you the confidence to move forward in your first deal?
Kevin, I would say between that class and then the tax and legal classes, with Mark Kohler.
Yeah.
Is investing can be scary, just like anything we do in life. But when I realized that I could go out and provide a win-win-win situation for everybody, and the knowledge gave me the confidence, knowing how to go out and be able to talk to people, how to have the deal structured correctly to protect me as the investor, but also giving protection to my lenders. And so when I realized that I could do it in a way that when it was all said and done, I could make money, my lenders could get a better rate of return on that transaction than they could, in the traditional methods and ways of investing in real estate.
Right.
Investing in the stock market. And then the person that bought my home had a home that had gone through, had the permits pulled, known that everything was done correctly. I'm like, I can do this because I knew I was doing it the right way, the way that it should be done. And that gave me the confidence I was still scared to death that whole time. I was still, it's nervous. It's nerve-wracking. It's like, oh, my gosh. Some of those nights where it's like, hey, now it's on the market. It's been on the market 2 hours. That hasn't
yet. Yeah, 2 hours. I don't have an offer. Yeah.
Yeah, like, come on, somebody, like, please don't back out, that, like, all of that stuff. What I realized is this. It's just like walking. Yeah. The first time you get up, it's a little harder. You're going to fall down. Second time, it gets easier. And that's how it is with investing and understanding the rules. Right. And playing by the rules that we have not set, the government has set them. And when we can play by their rules, we're free.
Right, and the thing I love about real estate investing, you've got over 400 tax deductions, whereas if you're a W-2 employee, you may have 6 or 7 deductions. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Wealth Empowers with Dr. G and Kevin Lawrence, and our special guest is Richard Stock from Salt Lake City, Utah. Just a wonderful fellow. He loves the Lord. He loves serving people, and, he loves real estate investing. I think he's pretty excited. What do you think, Kevin?
I'm listening to his story. I'm getting excited. I want to re-enroll because I want to learn how to do this.
We know
it. Yeah, it's so true what you're talking about, Richard.
Hey,
Go ahead,
Kevin and I, we're having our business forum this week right here in the Valley, and we'd love to invite you and see you and meet you. I mean, that's a highlight every week for us, isn't it,
Each week,
Kevin?
Absolutely.
We love meeting our audience. If you'd like to be my guest, I tell everybody, be sure to leave your checkbook and credit cards at home. You're not going to buy anything. We're just going to get acquainted. We're going to do our due diligence with each other. And when you call, you will get our voice message. So for your sake, leave a message for me with your name and phone number, and I will personally return the call. So here's our phone number. Please write it down. It's 602-730-5645. That's 602-730-5645. Or, hey, visit us at our website, wealthempowers.com. That's WEALTH. EMPOWERS, wealthempowers.com. Richard Stock's been our guest. Richard, we've got about 2.5 minutes left. What would you say to our audience that in your mind might keep them from making a decision to at least come to our business forum, to at least come and get acquainted with what Renatus has to offer them?
Don't be afraid to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
So many people, that I work with, they're afraid of, what if this truly happened? What if this could happen to me? Mm-hmm. Don't be afraid. Come see the possibilities that are out there. When I first came down and I met our founder and CEO, Bob Snyder, he said a couple things I'll never forget. He said, Richard, you have fears just like me. You have goals and dreams just like me, and you have untapped potential just like me. And as I thought about that, I'm like, you know what? We're absolutely right.
Yeah.
It's the same for you guys, too.
Right.
But this is the thing. You have 2 eyes, 2 arms, and 2 feet, just like us. If we can do it, and we plugged into a systematic approach that absolutely works, you can too. Don't delay. Get down and see how big of a difference this system that we have with Renatus can make in your life, so you can go out and start, living your dreams and turn them in from dreams to realities and have the success that you want to have in your life.
And create your new financial future now. Am I right or right, Richard?
Absolutely right.
Hey, I want to ask you this. If any of our listeners call me and want to get your personal cell phone number, do I have your permission to give it out, Richard?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would love for them to have an opportunity to speak with you. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Dr. G and Kevin Lawrence, and you know what? If you're ready to make a change, you better be careful, and here's why. Change, when left to chance, just creates more conflict. If you're waiting for all the circumstances to change before you make a change, I got to tell you something, you're never going to make a change, because until you change, your circumstances are not going to change. And I'll guarantee you this, the only thing that won't change is the fact that things will change. So how can you make the change? Here it is. Are you ready? Stop being a circumstantial creator and become an intentional creator. Start living life on purpose. Don't take it just as it comes your way. Decide what circumstances you're going to create yourself. Success has never been a destination. It's nothing more than a journey. So I'm asking you, are you enjoying the journey? Everything that's been given to anyone else has already been given to you. Success has never been final, and failure has never been fatal. I don't know anybody that's died from failing. An investment in knowledge will pay you the best return on your investment. You are full of the power of success. Now, why do I say this? Well, it's real simple. Greater is He that is in you than he that is in the world. I'm Dr. G, and I want you to create success. Why not start today? We're going to bring our special guest out right now. Richard Stock, 41-year-old, real estate investor, entrepreneur, used to be in the mortgage industry, and he decided he's never going to accomplish what he wants to accomplish working for someone else. Wonderful man. I'm going to bring him out. Richard Stock, what a joy to have you back on the air with us today.
Great to be back with you guys.
You know, we're talking about Renatus. I want to tell our audience, what is Renatus? Well, it's a Latin term for rebirth. And Renatus is the premier real estate investing education service in America. It's second to none. And I started my journey in real estate investing when I was 65. And I think you said you were, what, 33, Richard?
33.
And now you had your wife on the same side with you. She was with you on that, wasn't she?
She absolutely was.
Well, you know what I found out about 18 months ago? I found out Sylvia was praying, "Dear God, don't let Gary get involved in real estate." You know? But after I met, I had the privilege, and maybe we all start a conversation out here. I had the privilege of meeting with Bob Snyder, the CEO and founder, down here in Scottsdale, Arizona for 2 hours, and Charles Hosea. You know Charles, right?
Uh-huh.
And I told Sylvia, when I saw the strength of their character and the strength of their integrity, I told her I'm going to embrace the Renatus Real Estate Investing Education Service. Do you think I made the right decision, Richard?
You absolutely made the right decision.
How would you, we talk about our education. We've got 29 practitioner real estate investors as our instructors. We have lifetime access. Once you're enrolled, it's a lifetime experience. We are the least expensive, but the greatest return on the investment in education in America. But how would you describe Bob Snyder, our CEO and founder, to our audience so they get a picture of what they're actually going to be getting involved with?
You know, when I think about Bob, here is an individual that is financially set. Not only him, his kids, his grandkids. And he just looked and said, you know what? I've been given talents and abilities that I need to be able to go out and maximize. And I truly want to put a system together that is absolutely the best to be able to help people go out and invest. And an individual that's like, I want people to succeed. You know, and like all, when we go through life, we have our good days, we have, our bad days. But what I love about Bob, he's consistent.
Mm-hmm.
He's consistent in every day in what he wants to accomplish,
right,
and what he wants to do, and treats people with the utmost respect and love. I think I'll never forget the first time I met Bob. I'm like, okay, that was a good show. He was happy. He was excited. No one can genuinely be that happy all the time. I met him again. I'm like, hey, he can trick me twice, but he can't trick me 3 times.
Right.
And now all these years later, I'm like, he is the same guy who absolutely is faithful to his wife,
right,
his kids, and puts his family and God first. And when he has that direction in his life, man, it's a lot easier to run a company when he genuinely and sincerely wants to help people have a new life.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to do, Richard. I'm going to play devil's advocate on behalf of our audience.
You don't have to. The devil's already got enough advocates.
So on behalf of the audience, I'm going to come at it this way. Look, they don't know Bob Snyder. The three of us do, and the thousands of people involved in Renatus across the country know Bob. We understand his character, okay? But for the average person listening, Richard, this is just another real estate investment program. It's the same as everything else out there. We've heard it all before. Flip your way to millions, yada, yada, yada. So do a contrast with the education Renatus provides with what already exists out there in the real estate investing education space. Because I know there's a lot of junk out there, but how would you help the average listener make that differentiation?
Okay, so this is what's fun. This actually just happened with one of our community members down in Southern California. He has a real estate investing club, and as part of that club, he brought in one of our instructors, whose name's Kendall Stock, and on going and raising private funds. And this individual comes up afterwards, and he's like, you know what? I want to sit down, and I want to do a follow-up. They did a follow-up. This individual works for one of the biggest guru companies in their accounting side of their business. And he comes in and sits down and says, okay, I'm getting started. And they're like, you already work for this other company. Why? And he said, because so what Kendall just taught, they don't teach that where I work.
Right.
Wow.
So here's one of the gurus, someone who works for the gurus, who's coming to take classes to learn how to go out and raise money because their company doesn't teach it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I love is it's from all aspects, not only making money, keeping our money, having the legacy. It's just not real estate investing. It is lifetime creation of wealth. And so when that guy did that, it spoke volumes to me, once again, because I've been there. I've spent money on the gurus in the past. And you know what? When I look at Renatus, it's the people that make the difference. We're here locally. You can come see the transaction. I went to an event one time where the guy put up a Repsy that was about 7 years old. I'm like, man, if you use that, you're going to get yourself in trouble.
Yeah, deep trouble. Listen, Richard, I've got to go to my audience. I want to come back, man. I love Richard's enthusiasm. It's genuine.
Yeah, his enthusiasm and confidence.
Yeah, big time. It's just a thrill to interview you, Richard. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Dr. G and Kevin Lawrence Show with Wealth Empowers. And we're all about helping you create a new financial future and to learn how to do it now. Not after you get a paper degree 2 years from now or 4 years from now, but you can literally change your financial platform with the Renatus Education Service. Hey, we're hosting an investor business forum again this week. We do it every week. And we want to invite you to come and meet Kevin and I. Come and meet our team, men and women just like yourself who said, you know what, I'm going to take some time out of making a living and learn how to make a life. And that's what Renatus is all about. Hey, there's no cost to you. You're my guest. You cannot bring a checkbook or a credit card. You're not going to buy anything. Why is that? Well, we're not going to sell you anything. But if you want to be my guest, you're going to have to call me. And I'm going to give you my phone number. So please write it down. And when you call, leave a message for me with your name and phone number, and I will get back to you probably within about 24 hours. All right, here's our phone number at 602 602-730-5645. That's 602-730-5645. Almost gave out my own personal cell phone.
Yeah, we don't want to give your cell phone number.
Hey, or visit us at our website, wealthempowers.com. That's wealth, W-E-A-L-T-H, empowers, E-M-P-O-W-E-R-S, wealthempowers.com. Richard Stock is our special guest. He's a 41-year-old entrepreneur, real estate investor, and he serves on the President's Advisory Council right alongside Bob Snyder, our CEO and founder. And Richard, I'm almost 75 years old, and I tell everybody that I'm on the President's Advisory Council with you. Sylvia and I have had the privilege of standing beside you as we enjoy the privilege of working with Bob Snyder. But at the age of 75, I am so grateful to be part of a community that is so positive, proactive, and profit-minded. What would you say to that? Am I just being a little bit overzealous?
No, absolutely not. Bob Snyder absolutely wants to be able to make, the difference that's out there. He's been out there. He's seen what is there. And, just like the student I was talking about, a second ago, works for another company, is coming down, getting our education to learn how to do the most basic thing that we need to do, raise other people, raise money. And, and so as Bob looks at this, he's like, you know what? I want to raise the bar. Mm-hmm. I want to be able to go out and be able to change the way things are done, because so many times, as I have personally seen as I've gone out, is I've seen the tactics that people use. I went down to one of those free events. I paid a couple $100. I then went and, spent money to go to a 3-day weekend. Where out of those 3 days, 2 days was trying to get money from.
Right.
They wanted to know exactly how much was in retirement accounts. They wanted to know exactly how much was in my checking account, my savings account. And I'm like, it's none of your business. Mm-hmm. You shouldn't even be asking these questions. And when I realized, Bob was like, I want to raise the standards.
Right.
Because if we do things the right way, let's be the industrial leader in how things are done. Mm-hmm. Let's make sure with the laws and the regulations that are out there, we do it in the right way. When I grew up, a lot of people say, what are your goals? And, people by the end of February have already broken all their New Year's resolutions. And it's the standards that we set. I grew up with standards. If I, did these things, and I had all the freedom that I wanted to have. But if I broke the standards my parents had set, well, I was in a little trouble. And that's what Bob's doing with Renatus. He wants to be the industry standard on how things are done ethically, compliantly, with all the government regulations and stuff that are out there. Let's make sure we're doing it the right way. Mm-hmm. Let's make sure we're raising that bar, raising the standards. Because when you raise those standards and things are done the right way, man, life becomes a lot easier. There's a lot more freedom that comes. Now, unfortunately, every great opportunity brings along a bad apple every once in a while. But as we raise those standards, you know what? Great things are going to happen. And I love that he wants to do that, because I don't want to be a part of a company that's going to be gone in a year.
Yeah,
or 2 years.
Yeah, big time.
I want to be, Gary, as you and I serve on the PAC, with Bob, he's like, guys, I want this company to be around, when my grandkids, when they die. Mm-hmm. He wants to be able to set, so when people think of real estate investment education, first and foremost, it is Renatus, because we are, the bang for the buck, 1 year, as long as we're in good standing, complimentary lifetime access. I mean,
absolutely,
just announced that, we're adding like a bunch of new classes. Gary, when you and I got started, we had 25 classes.
I know it.
We're now over 60.
Yes.
Soon to be almost 70 classes, and it's like every time we re-record the classes. We bring new classes on. Gary, you and I don't have to pay any more pay any more for education.
I know it.
Compared to one of my friends who spent over $100,000 on education and literally got what we have in our middle package at $8,000.
Boy, isn't that sad?
Yeah,
It is. It's really sad.
It is. And to try to communicate this to our audience, we know, because we have the education, the power of being able to have lifetime access. And when the tax laws change, and they do every year, our tax and legal instructor, Mark Kohler, goes back in the studio, re-records the classes on the parts that have changed and puts it back in our education. And we have up-to-date tax and legal strategies that are current. And that type of quality, Richard, is what you're referring to as Renatus being the standard bearer to make sure that we have true information, good information, quality information at access at all different levels.
Well, and I think it's just awesome that we have one of the top real estate attorneys in America as one of our instructors, Mark Kohler.
Yeah, absolutely.
And didn't he write a book entitled Lawyers Are Liars, Richard?
He did, and that was one of his many books he wrote. That's absolutely phenomenal.
And what your accountant won't tell you.
Yeah.
Bob makes it a point, the CEO of Renatus, he makes it a point to find men and women throughout the country that are proficient within the disciplines they're teaching through the education. And it's designed specifically so adults can take action on the concepts they're learning to get results. And that's what I love about Bob's mindset, is focused on student outcome. We need more people out there investing in real estate.
And Richard, I tell everybody there's not one leader in Renatus nationwide or one of our instructors nationwide that have an attitude of haughtiness or a spirit of pridefulness, but they all have a genuine attitude of servitude. And when you were telling our audience that when you first met Bob, you weren't sure whether or not he was real because he was so positive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I actually had a young man tell me a couple months ago, he said, Dr. G, I don't like being around you. And I looked at him and I thought, well, that's an interesting thing to say. And I said, why is that? He said, because you're too positive. You want to address that positive attitude aspect of Renatus? I'm going to come back real quick. Just keep your thoughts about that, would you, Richard?
Absolutely.
Hey, you're listening to Dr. G and Kevin Lawrence with Wealth Empowers, and our special guest is Richard Stock from Salt Lake City. Ladies and gentlemen, is it about time that you open up the door to the possibilities and probabilities of what you can do to change your financial well-being? Well, if you're at that place, I'm inviting you to be my personal guest at our business forum this week. It's an hour-and-a-half event. It's an exciting event. It's not a boring business meeting. And no, this is not multi-level marketing. This is real estate investing education service at its finest. Come and get acquainted with Kevin and I. Give us a chance to meet you. It's not going to cost you anything. You're my guest. You can't bring your checkbook and credit cards. You're not going to buy anything. We're just going to get acquainted. Write down our phone number. Here it is. Please write it down. 602-730-5645. That's 602-730-5645. Or visit our website, Wealth Empowers, WEALTHEMPOWERS, wealthempowers.com. Richard Stock, man, we've only got about 2.5 minutes left. What would you say to our audience that might encourage them to give Dr. G and Kevin a call?
Guys, this is the thing. There's so much negativity that's out in the world. When we think about all the terrible things that are happening, and that gets you down. And this is what I love about what Bob has put together. And, from the corporate, home team to the communities across the country, let's be optimistic. Let's be positive. Let's look at all of the good in people. Because when we look at the good in people and we're more grateful for what we have, the riches start to come. And that's the thing that is so wonderful about what we do, is being around positive people that are uplifting, that are happy, who are encouraging us and pushing us. Instead of being at the job where it's like, hey, great job, you did that, but if you don't do this next month, you're fired. You aren't going to find that attitude here in Renatus. It's an attitude of gratitude. It's an attitude of let's go out, let's serve, let's make a difference. Realizing, you know what? We all came from the same place.
Right.
Let's go out and treat people with love, respect, and decency that you deserve to be able to have in your life. Because I've had my bad days, but I'll tell you this. It's my community. It's those people.
Even the best have bad days.
That truly have been there for me in the hard times.
Right.
That keep me coming back to say, you know what? I love what I do because we surround ourselves with some of the best people in the country. And that's why I love from our founder, our CEO, our corporate home office, all the way down to the new person getting started.
Richard,
just want to make a difference, Gary.
Richard, I love your excitement. Thank you so much for being our guest this week. We love you, man.
Love you guys, too. Thank you for letting me be on.
Yeah, hold on, my friend. Listen, you folks, you may think you've got some problems. I say it like this. Successful people are not people without problems. They're people who've learned how to solve their problems. And I want you to know those problems you have, the truth is they're nothing more than frames that God is using to draw attention to areas in your life in which you need help. Are you ready to get rid of the problems and move forward and create a financial future now? Did you know success has never been a destination? That's nothing more than a journey. Did you know you can succeed? All that's given to anyone is given to you. God hasn't favored someone else more than you. Success has never been final, but you know what? Failure's never been fatal. Nobody's ever died from failing. An investment in knowledge will pay you the best return on your investment. You are full of the power of success. Now, why do I say this with such strong conviction? Greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. I'm Dr. G.
It's been said, the best way to predict your future is to create it. No matter your circumstances, there is a solution to your situation. Dr. G and Kevin invite you to explore the possibilities of creating a new financial platform that you control and no longer allow yourself to be controlled by the circumstances of your life. Visit them at wealthempowers.com. That's WealthEmpowers.com. Come and meet Dr. G and Kevin at the Investor Business Forum. Oh, one last thought. Isn't it time for you to stop making a living and start making a life? Call Dr. G and Kevin at 602-730-5645. That's 602-730-5645.